the president said everyone would be covered. I got critical treatment through Obamacare, then watched in horror as he and his party tried to repeal it. The last Democrat I voted for was Jimmy Carter. The last Republican I voted for was Donald Trump. After the past 8 months, I am now a healthcare voter. My story, and my family's story, is like so many others. In 2008, after a 20-year career in healthcare, I became another statistic in the number of uninsured Americans and no longer had a job or employer-provided healthcare. I had followed the American dream and started my own small business. I am a barber in Tennessee and I love it. I was able to get insurance through my wife's job. A year later, her company closed and moved to Mexico, leaving us without health insurance. We had the option of going on COBRA to extend her company coverage, which we did, but it was expensive and ran out after 18 months, leaving us back at square one. I was then told I could buy health insurance on the private marketplace, so I did my investigating and found the only plan I could afford was a temporary policy that did not cover pre-existing conditions. As it was my only option, I took it. After 7 months, I began to have difficulty swallowing and had an endoscopy. I was then notified that my insurance company would not pay the bill because I had a pre-existing condition called heartburn. That cost was passed along to me. More, the Russians are hacking. Luckily, Trump Voter Fraud Commission isn't in charge. More, as Obamacare repeal implodes, Democrats prep for single-payer self-destruction. As soon as the Affordable Care Act went into effect, I signed up on the exchange and had a second and third endoscopy. I was told I had esophageal cancer. I had surgery and a follow-up procedure and have been cancer-free now for 3 years. I wrote my Republican congressman to tell him of my great experience with the ACA and received no response. I wrote my Republican senator and received a nice form letter about how bad the ACA was and how the Republicans were going to repeal it. I wrote to the former President Barack Obama's White House and told them my story, and they celebrated with me the news that I was cancer-free and that the ACA had saved my life. I then listened to candidate Trump, who said that after he was elected president, everyone would be insured. Over the last 7 months, I have watched in horror as the Republicans in Congress have tried to repeal the ACA, seemingly by the seat of their pants, only so they can say they fulfilled their campaign promise, with no regard to the consequences of their actions. I have watched as the Republican leadership abdicated their responsibility to the American people and pushed whatever will get them to check the box with their big-dollar donors, whether it's repeal without a replacement plan, the skinny bill, or this current bill. What is the common thread? Each attempt cuts coverage for millions and raises costs while weakening vital protections. More, Florida Healthcare Association were dedicated policing the USAA. Look at race, justice, media. The latest assault, the Graham-Cassidy bill, goes even farther. This bill is worse than other repeal bills and will cause untold harm to working families, seniors, people with disabilities and children. It's similar to earlier legislation that the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said could cause up to 32 million fewer people to have coverage in 10 years. Graham-Cassidy will allow insurance companies to once again charge people with pre-existing conditions more and to gut other key parts of the law. It strips money from Medicaid, which serves people with disabilities, seniors in nursing homes, children and other vulnerable populations. It would let insurance companies charge up to 5 times more for people over 50, and it eliminates tax credits that make healthcare more affordable for people with coverage through the ACA. I understand there are issues with the ACA that need to be addressed, but must we deny millions their health care so politicians can say they kept a campaign promise? Is it so wrong for Republicans and Democrats to work together to address these issues, hold committee meetings and public hearings on a bipartisan approach, and demand to know the full impact of the bill they are voting on? No, we must not, we can't. We must have affordable health care for all. I know, I'm living proof. Dennis Wallace, a barber near Chattanooga, Tennessee, is an esophageal cancer survivor who was denied insurance before the passage of the Affordable Care Act because of a pre-existing condition. Read or share this story to Psusa.ly Tushuzki.